Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mercy Ogechi. For this video, we will be recreating this bustier with a built-up neckline, but with a little twist at the hem and the sleeve. So if this is something you're interested in, you need to sit back, relax and enjoy it. And if this is your first time coming across my video, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share. And for my returning subscribers, thank you for stopping by. First thing you need to do is to come down from the top of the pattern paper by 3 inches, and after marking the 3 inches across the pattern paper, you use your ruler to connect a straight line. For this project, I'll be drafting the back pattern first, so I marked 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance. From the 3 inches line, I marked my vertical measurements, which are my shoulder to nipple point, shoulder to underbust, shoulder to waistline, and shoulder to my hip line, or wherever you want the top to stop. So after that, I connected with a straight line. So next thing to do is to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. My shoulder measurement is 16, divided by 2 is 8. So I marked 8 at that point. Then from that point, I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Then next thing I did is to determine the chest line. And to do that, you divide your bust circumference by 6 plus 1.5. Mine was 8, so from the shoulder slope, I marked 8 inches. You can either use your ruler to make a straight line, or you check what you have from the bust point to the 8 inches. Whatever you have, you mark it across the pattern paper. Mine was 2 inches, so I marked the 2 inches across the pattern paper. Then I connected with a straight line, and that would be my chest line. And I also labeled the line, that is the bust point, waistline, and hip. To get the armhole, I marked a straight line from the chest line to the shoulder measurements, like so. After that, I marked my bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line. Then on the armhole line, I marked from the shoulder slope to the chest line. I divided it by 2 to get the midpoint. Then on the midpoint, I came in by 1/2 inch. I now used my curved ruler to connect the marks. Next is to impute my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 8 divided by 2 will give me 4. So I marked 4 inches from the bust point to the hemline, and now I use my straight ruler to connect it. For the dart intake, on the waistline, I marked 0.5 inches on the 2 sides of the dart leg. So on the hemline, I came up by 2 inches. Then I used my ruler to connect the dart like so. I also used my curved ruler to connect from the bust point to the mid armhole like so, because I want to have a princess dart line on the back also. But if you don't want yours to have a princess dart at the back, you can just leave it. It's optional. When I was done with the dart intakes, I inserted my body measurement. So on the bust point, I marked my bust circumference divided by 4. On the waistline, I also marked my waist circumference divided by 4. And I also measured what I had for the dart intake. I replaced it. And on the hemline, I marked my hip circumference divided by 4 also. When I was done imputing the body measurement, I used my curved ruler to connect from the waistline to the hip this way, giving it this curvy effect. Then I used my straight ruler to connect from the waist to my armhole. Now let's move over to the neckline. First of all, I extended the zipper line towards the top of the pattern paper. And in this case, we are not using the standard neckline of 3 by 3 inches. What you do is to divide your bust circumference by 12. Whatever it gives you is what you will use for your neckline. So if your bust circumference is 30, you divide it by 12. If it's 35, you divide it by 12. But mine was 37. So 37 divided by 12 still gave me 3 inches. After marking my neck depth and my neck width, I used my curve ruler to join them. Then I also connected my shoulder slope. You're going to extend the shoulder slope a bit this way. Then on the shoulder line, you're going to go in by 0.25 inches. Then on the neckline, you come out by 0.5 inches. 0.25 inch on the shoulder line, then you come out by 0.5 inches on the neckline. Next is to determine the height of the collar. So you can choose to use between 1.5 inches, 2 inches or 2.5. If you have a long neck, you may want to use 2 inches to 2.5 inches. But for this video, I'll be making use of 2 inches. So from that 0.5 inches I came out on the neckline, I draw a vertical line, and on that line I marked my 0.2 inches for the collar. I also marked the 0.2 inches on the center back, then I connected it this way to form a box. On the center back, you are going to come down by 0.5 inches. After that, you use your curve ruler to connect it this way. And you are also going to use the curve ruler to connect from the 0.25 inches on the shoulder slope to the 2 inches for the collar. With this, you have successfully joined the shoulder to the collar. After joining the collar to the shoulder, the next thing is to eliminate the zipper bulge. On the waistline, you're going to go in by 0.5 inches or 0.75 inches. Then you're going to use your straight ruler to connect it towards the chest line and towards the hemline this way. Then on the new line, you're going to remeasure the zipper allowance. So you're going to measure from that new line on the waist. Whatever you use for your zipper allowance, if it is 1 inch, if it is 1.5 inch, you're going to remeasure it and use your straight ruler to reconnect the lines. Now, because I want my waistline to be snatched, on the waistline towards the side back, I'm going to go in by 0.5 inches. And I'll use my ruler to connect it this way. After that, I'm going to extend my back neckline to the zipper allowance. It didn't just stop at the center back. I extended it to the zipper allowance. Then I'll also measure the built-up neckline and note it down. I'll measure from the built-up, that is the 2 inches for the built-up neckline, to the shoulder slope towards the armhole. Whatever I have, I will write it out somewhere. With this, we are done with the back pattern for now, so we'll set it aside and move over to the front pattern. Just like I did for the back pattern, from the top of the pattern paper, I marked 3 inches and connected it to a horizontal line. So from that 3 inches line, I will be imputing my vertical measurements, which are my shoulder to nipple point, shoulder to the underbust, shoulder to the waistline, and shoulder to the hemline. After that, I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect it this way. Next thing you're going to do is to mark your shoulder line, your shoulder slope, and to determine your chest line. I've already explained how to do that on the back pattern, but for clarity's sake, I will repeat it again. On the shoulder line, you're going to mark your shoulder measurement divided by 2. Then from that point, you're going to come down by 1 inch for your shoulder slope. Then you're going to divide your bust circumference by 6 plus 1.5 in order to determine the chest line. So from that 1 inches for the slope, you're going to measure whatever you have down. At that point where you mark your chest line, you're going to measure what is remaining from the bust point to that point. Whatever you have, you will measure it across the pattern paper in order to get a straight line. After that, you are going to make a straight line from your shoulder measurement to the chest line, or you bring down what you have for the shoulder measurement to the chest line in order to have a straight line. On the armhole line, you're going to determine the midpoint from the shoulder slope. On that midpoint, you go in by 0.5 inches. Then on the chest line, you're going to divide your bust circumference by 4 and mark whatever you have there. After that, you use your curve ruler to connect from the chest line to that 0.5 inches, then to the shoulder slope this way. Next thing you're going to do is to mark your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 8 divided by 2 will give me 4. So I'm going to mark 4 inches from my bust point to the hemline, and then I will use my ruler to connect it. For the dart intake, I'm going to go in and out of the dart leg by 1 inch on the under bust. Then on the bust point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. On the hemline, I'm going to go up by 2 inches, and I'll use my straight ruler to connect them this way. After using my straight ruler to connect from the hemline to the under bust, I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect from the under bust to the bust point. To that 1 inch I came down on the bust point, I'm going to just pay close attention and see how I'm doing the connections. Because we're making a princess that you are going to be connecting from the bust point using a curved ruler, we're going to be connecting from the bust point to the mid armhole this way. And after that, we'll be taking the armhole dart. From that mid armhole, I'm going to mark 1 inch. I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Then I'll also use my curve ruler to connect it back to the bust point. And that will be our armhole dart. After taking the armhole dart, if you measure it, you realize that one line is shorter than the other one. So what you're going to do is to extend the shorter one by 1 inch or 2 inches, so that when you are done joining the princess dart, when you're sewing it, you will not be having any shortage at all. So from that 1 inch line or 2 inches line you extended, you are going to redraw another armhole, and that will be our new armhole. The next thing is to draft the built-up neckline. So you're going to mark your neck width and your neck depth. Also remember that whenever you are making a built-up collar, you are going to divide your bust by 12 in order to determine the neck width you'll be working with. After marking the neck width and the neck depth, you are going to use your curve ruler to connect it to get a round neck. Just like we did for the back, you are going to draw your shoulder slope and extend it towards the center front. And after that, you are going to go in on the shoulder slope by 0.2. Then you are going to come out by 0.5 inches towards the neck line. And on that 0.5 inches, you are going to draw a vertical line upwards. Then you mark your 2 inches for the built-up collar. On the neck depth, you are going to go up by 2 inches. Then you are going to connect it with a dotted line to that 2 inches for the built-up neckline. Then on that 2 inches for the built-up neckline, you are going to come out by 1 inch. Then you are going to use a slight curve to connect that 1 inch to the new 2 inches this way. And after that, you are going to connect that 1 inch to the 0.25 on the shoulder slope with a slight curve. When you're done with all of that, you are going to measure what you have from the collar to the shoulder, just like we did for the back pattern. So you're going to measure to reconfirm if what you have for the back is the same thing with the front. And if it's not the same, you're going to reduce that 1 inch to ½ inch. You know that 1 inch you came out on the built-up neckline, where on that 2 inches for the built-up neckline, you came out by 1 inch to connect to the new neck depth. So you're going to reduce that 1 inch either to ½ inch or 0.8. You keep reducing it until you get the accurate measurement. I don't know if you understand. So after measuring it, I got the same answer. So the next thing you're going to do is to determine the neck depth. You know, the built-up collar kind of look like a V neckline. So you're going to determine how long you want that V neckline to be. How long or short you want it to be is your choice, but just make sure that your head can pass through it. But for me, I use the chest line as where I want the V neckline to stop. For the opening, that is how wide you want the neckline to be. You can use 0.75 inches or 1 inch, but for me, I use 0.75 inches. So I mark 0.75 inches on the neckline, on the old neckline. That is that 2 inches we went up before. So I connected it with a slight curve to my chest line because that is where I want my V neckline to stop. You can either use a slight curve, or you use a straight line. However you want it to be is your choice. So with that, we are done with the built up collar. Next thing is to impute your body measurement. So on the bust point, I divided my bust circumference by 4. Then on the waistline, I did the same thing, my waist measurement divided by 4. Then I measured the darts and replaced. Also on the hemline, the same thing. When I was done imputing the body measurements, I connected with my ruler. Next is to take the bust dart. The bust dart is the difference between the front half length and the back half length. So my front half length is 17, my back half length is 15. 17 minus 15 will give me 2 inches. So my bust dart is 2 inches. From the bust point, I came down by 2 inches. Then I used my ruler to connect it to the bust point this way. Because I want a snatched waistline, just like I did for the back. On the waistline towards the side front, I came in by 1/2 inch. Then I used my ruler to connect it this way. So it's at this point that you have to draw out however you want the hem of your top to be. That is, however, whichever style you want to create for the down parts, this is the point you draw it and cut. But because I want a scallop hem, I will not be cutting it on the pattern paper. I will leave it until I'm done joining the front. Then I will now draw it on my fabric how I want it to be and cut out. When you're done with all of that, you are going to go ahead and close your bust dart. And after closing your bust dart, you're going to notice a shortage. So you use your marker and blend in the shortage. Then you're also going to add your sewing allowance at this point. Then you go ahead and cut out. When you're done cutting, you're also going to label it. For the front, you label the center front and the side front. Also for the back, you label the center back and the side back. I've gone ahead to cut out the fabrics, and as you can see, I added 0.5 inches for the joining of the darts. So guys, in my next video, I'll be sharing with you how to sew this beautiful bustier top. So stay tuned.